Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth, a land so unforgiving that even silence feels deadly. More than 100 years ago, this frozen continent became the grave of one of the bravest explorers in history, Captain Robert Falcon Scott. This is the true story of how Robert Scott lost his life chasing the South Pole. In 1910, the British explorer Robert Scott and 65 men began the Terra Nova mission to reach the South Pole and explore Antarctica. But reaching the South Pole was not meant for all of them. From the very beginning, Robert Scott planned that only a small final team would attempt the last stretch to the pole, while others would support from supply camps. After months of travel and preparation, Scott selected 5 men for the final journey to the South Pole. Robert Falcon Scott, expedition leader Edward Wilson, doctor and scientist Henry Bowers, navigator Lawrence Oates, Army officer Edgar Evans, sailor. These 5 men would face Antarctica's deadliest test alone. In late 1911, the 5 men began their final march across endless ice and snow. Day after day, they pulled heavy sledges, facing temperatures far below freezing. The wind cut through their clothes and every step drained their strength. Still, they pushed forward, driven by one goal: the South Pole. On January 17, 1912, they finally reached it. But instead of victory, they found a silent shock waiting for them. A black flag stood in the ice, a tent, proof that the Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen had arrived 34 days earlier. Scott and his team had lost the race. Disappointed but calm, Scott recorded their arrival and turned back. The return journey, however, would become a nightmare. Their bodies were already weak, food was running low, and the cold grew more brutal with each passing day. The first to fall was Edgar Evans. Injured, exhausted, and unable to continue, he collapsed and died on February 17, 1912. The team was now reduced to 4 men. Soon after, Lawrence Oates could no longer walk properly. Frostbite had destroyed his feet. Knowing he was slowing the others down, Oates made a heartbreaking decision. One morning during a powerful storm, he stepped outside the tent and said, "I am just going outside and maybe some time." He never came back. Now only 3 remained: Scott, Wilson, and Bowers. They struggled forward, starving and freezing. Just 11 miles from a supply camp, a deadly snowstorm trapped them inside their tent. Days passed. The storm did not stop. Their strength faded. Inside the tent, Robert Scott wrote his final diary entries. He did not write in fear, but with courage, thinking of his family, his team, and his country. He wrote, "For God's sake, look after our people." In late March 1912, all 3 men died from cold, hunger, and exhaustion. Months later, a search party found the tent buried in snow. Scott's diary told the world what had happened. He did not conquer Antarctica, but Antarctica could not erase his courage. The South Pole was won by another man, but history remembers Robert Falcon Scott for something greater: the cost of ambition, the power of sacrifice, and the thin line between heroism and death. Today, Antarctica is a little safer. Technology is better, but the ice hasn't changed. It still reminds us of one truth: Antarctica doesn't forgive mistakes. It doesn't care about dreams, and it doesn't spare heroes.